Clear to play. Mini Wargaming's Beat Matt Batrep.
Welcome back to Beat Matt Batrep, episode 12, Cygnar vs. Khador. We are entering round number 2, Cygnar Turn 2. Now, if you've already watched, you saw that we had the wall of metal move up and take some pot shots and not do too much damage. And now he is going to attempt to see if he can do some damage back to the wall of metal that is in front of him. So he's allocating focus there, moves over his Journeyman Caster, and I think he puts Arcane Shield, yes, plus 3 armor to the Jack with the shield there. And that one's going to move up, not do much. Then his caster casts a spell on his Jack that allows it to fire twice, and then he actually can see Karchev. And it's just like a millimeter of space that allows him to see it. And then in his first roll, he does a tremendous amount of damage and disables Karchev's left arm in one shot. He takes his second shot, and he rolls a 6, 6, and a 5. This is unbelievable at this point. I'm just flabbergasted that he managed to sneak in those 2 shots, and within 2 shots do more than 2/3 of damage to Karchev. And so his left arm's disabled, his movement's disabled. Luckily, his body's not disabled. Then his little gun mage strike team move over, and they do a power 12 area 4, and he kills 3 of my mechanics. So I'm not even able to have a lot of mechanics left to repair Karchev. And then he's going to start to open fire on my Juggernaut to see what damage he can do. Luckily, the Juggernaut is able to shake off most of the attacks and only takes some minor damage. So we're doing all the damage rolls together, so this is why you're going to see us mark it in 2 different columns. This is actually 2 different damage rolls right here. So he doesn't take too much damage. And then his the hunters, the Nis hunters or whatever they all move up, and then they use their little mini feat that'll makes them basically go to ground, so they can't be hurt by blast. Next, his mage hunter goes up and does see Karchev, manages to hit and rolls a double 6 for damage, and actually does a bit of damage, but more importantly disrupts him, so he cannot get focus in the next turn. So there's no focus allocation in this turn. And so now my 3, I'm going to start off by trying to repair Karchev. I got to roll 7 or less. 2 of them fail, 1 of them gets it, and rolls a 6. So I'm able to repair his movement and his left arm, and that way all his systems are back, but he is still badly damaged. I'm going to give him an extra focus. I use his feat, so everybody can charge or use power attacks without spending focus. And then the Colden Lord gives a focus to the Juggernaut, hoping to do some damage to the guy with the rifle, or the big cannon. The one Juggernaut tramples through the Mage Hunter, misses the Mage Hunter, tramples into a couple of the Gun Mage strike team, manages to hit one of them with the trample attack, and then rolls horribly on the damage. But still is enough to kill it, because they're very low armor compared to his strength. The Kodiak runs up to the Mage and misses twice, but at least engages it. Now the Juggernaut runs up to the Centurion, or the Defender, and hits it really hard with his open fist, or with the Ice Axe, and then hits it with his open fist and manages to do a bit more damage. And then uses the focus for an extra attack with the Ice Axe, and manages to do a bit of damage, and disable its right arm, which of course has the cannon. I think, actually, no, you know what, the left arm has the cannon, so the cannon is not disabled at this point. The Behemoth moves up to block Karchev a bit, and then opens fire. I actually want it to miss what it's firing at, so that it'll scatter, but he hits twice and does no damage to the Jack that he was firing at. So at the end of round 2, the situation is this. Karchev is just about dead. He's only got 12 hit points left, which is not much for Karchev, because his defense is so low. I managed to go up and do a lot of damage to his Defender, and I managed to kill one of his Gun Mage strike team. But that is about all. So we're entering Cygnar Turn 3, and he wants to make sure to do lots of damage back. So he is going to allocate some focus to his Jack so they can hit back. And then he does something that I was not expecting, and I didn't realize that his mage had telekinesis, which basically is a spell that can be used offensively to move a Jack or any model 2 inches. So he basically moves the Jack away, and then is able to take a clear shot with his weapon, and does 11 points of damage. And so basically brings Karchev down to 1 hit point left. He realized he made a mistake. He should have put more on. He should have put that one spell onto his thing so I could fire twice, but he forgot to do that. So I still have 1 hit point left. And then he goes up with his other Jack and hits the Juggernaut really hard, disabling a couple of his systems. And then his hunters are actually charging my Kodiak, and to see what they can do. They do have Weapon Master, and since they're charging, they're going to get 4 dice on the charge. So they might be able to do a bit of damage. We'll see what happens. And the rest will run. So 4 of them are attacking. We do all 4 attacks at the same time, just to speed up the time. And then we're going to do the damage separately. So the first one does a bit of damage to the Kodiak. The second one does a bit of damage to the Kodiak, not much. The third one does alright, does a bit more damage to the Kodiak. And then the fourth one rolls pretty good. It manages to disable its Cortex, so it will not be able to get focus allocated to it. Two of them attack the Behemoth, but he's going to be a bit more difficult to target. And only one of them manages to do any damage to him. And he's got a lot of boxes to fill, so he's still pretty healthy. His Mage Hunter leaves combat with the Kodiak, hoping to kill Karchev, but I do get a free strike, and I do get it. And that kills the Mage Hunter quite easily, so I'm quite happy with that. His 13th Mage Gun Strike Team, whatever it's called, open fire. They do have gunfighters, so they can fire while though they're in close combat, and they do fire and do a bit of damage to my Jack. Next, his Journeyman Caster moves up, sees Karchev, rolls to hit with this low power spell, hits, and then rolls a 6, 6, and a 3, killing Karchev. And believe it or not, that is a Cygnar Victory.
I don't even know what to say. Two things went wrong in that game, if you didn't notice. First thing, my Juggernaut was out of place or out of position by a millimeter. Literally a millimeter. That's what it was. It was like the width of the measuring tape turned sideways was what he fit through the Juggernaut and the Behemoth to be able to see Karchev and basically disable him the first turn. The second thing that went wrong is every single shot at Karchev, if you were paying attention, had 2 6s and a 5. It's true. And like the 4 shots you took at him, all were ridiculous. So I blame the dice. I don't know.
Big target.
I don't often do that, but I blame the dice. But regardless, we're probably going to have a quick rematch after this off camera, just because we want. That game took less like an hour. So well deserved. $25 gift certificate. So hold it with your left hand and then shake me right. And then tilt in and smile. So apparently you're going to be donating this to your club.
I am.
And he's going to be matching it as well. So he's going to be spending $50 on his local Warmachine club, which is great.
Public school.
At a public school. Tom's a teacher. So there you go. I got schooled. That's a bad pun. Anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this. I realized that was a ridiculously short game. And that for some reason, Warmachine is just not my forte. So if you want to beat me with and get $25, challenge me to Warmachine, because I can't seem to win a game except that first one. I think I got a little lucky there in the end and managed to win in the end. Anyways, this is Matthew from Mini Wargaming. Stay tuned for more Beat Matt Bat Reps. Hopefully a little more interesting, and hopefully I get to stomp the next person, because I think I'm ready to do that. And anyways, we'll see you in the next video, and happy Wargaming.
Visit miniwargaming.com to see our videos 1 month early.